Well, hello there, Apple Bitey. This is your Apple Bite written Ralph talking to you straight from our show here, Apple Bites, where we take a bite out of the apple and share it with you. Yes, it is Monday again, and we are ready to have some fun, geek out, check out some Kickstarters, talk about the business, and at the same time, how was your free comic book day, people?
Oh, it was great. Love it.
That's what I like to hear. No, that's perfect. I was excited. It was fun. I was at Royal Collectibles. We had a blast. I was there till like 5 o'clock because their line didn't stop till about 3 or 4 o'clock. So that says a lot.
Yeah, it's good. The weather held up too, so that was good. So.
And you got your books too, because you don't usually get your books.
Yeah, I got my book. Yeah, there's a little video on everywhere. You can see it.
That's right. If you want to see more about that, you can see the video on Instagram where Tony talks all about all the beautiful stuff that he got and why he got it.
I got a big fat stack right here, just from multiple shops, and that was a lot of fun. And we're actually raffling them all off tomorrow, which is going to be.
So, Onrie, you got the big stack. What stands out to you from that stack?
Oh, it's all free comic book day books. So those are all the books that came out.
That's what I'm saying. Which out of the free comic book day books, which stand out for you?
I really like the Alien one. This one looks good. And then there was Ignition Press did this book called Minotaur.
Yeah,
this looks really
good.
Yeah. And then I'm not the Energon Universe stuff is cool.
Yeah, I got
that.
Haven't read it yet. But yeah.
There's the Mark Spears stuff. The Conan was good. The Mega Man looks pretty rad too. I mean,
you're talking about a Mega Man fan right there.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, it was a good free comic book day this year. Oh, that's badass, dude. I love it. Yeah, and the Sonic the Hedgehog was cool. I mean, it's like
there was a lot of good books.
Yeah, they showed up.
Carl surprised the hell out of me. I was like, Dungeon Carl? I was like, okay.
Yeah. How do I get one of those?
Which one? The Dungeon Carl?
Yeah.
Weren't you at a free comic book event?
I missed it. Sorry, guys.
Dude, you heard about the store? I forgot where it was. They were selling the comic Carl for $10, but if you bought $50 worth of books, you got it for free.
Wow.
On free comic book day?
Yeah, for free. It's a free comic book day book, but they were selling it for $10 unless you bought $50 worth of stuff, and then they were giving it to you for free.
I think we need to blacklist that store.
I ran into this online, and I was like, "What? It's free comic book day, man!" I was like, I completely put a back about the whole thing. I understand that people are making money off of that stuff like now, but dude, it's free comic book day.
Check Midtown Comics like 6 months from now. Those free comic book day books will be on their list and they will be for sale. So.
Oh, definitely. See, that's 6 months from now. That's not this week.
Well, for the books that Onrie was selling, there was a couple there I didn't see. So I think my retailer is holding some back.
Yeah. Well,
as a general rule, you shouldn't pay money for something that says free on the cover.
I agree, but however, that's the thing. Free comic book day. That's just I used to feel the exact same way you did. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing about it is the retailers are actually paying for these books. So these books are not like someone had to pay for them to be printed and everything. And that was the retailers who decided.
No. The books come. It depends on how much you get from the retailer. They get the books for free, but it depends on how much you order from them. Like if you order at a certain level, they get those books. Yeah, they get those books for free. They get those books for free.
Well, that's the one aspect. Then the other aspect,
if you don't order that many Marvel or whatever, if you don't order that many books, you get fewer. But if you order a lot of books, you get all the books.
And they give you a big sack. Totally, that makes sense. Yeah. The other reason why I think that they would get that there would be some buzz around these books is because you never know if there's like a first appearance or if this is like some of these things are put out as like ash cans or as previews for like upcoming series and like. Yeah. I know in like one Spider-Man free comic book day they did, there was a first appearance of a character, not a significant one.
Yeah.
What can happen down the road? You know, it's like
yeah, I know Jackpot premiered in a
yeah, but no one cares about Jackpot, so that's like,
but that's the one
it will at least not make it a free comic anymore. I would think it would at least go up in value by like a couple bucks. You know what I mean?
The way that's good. They try once it failed. They try to get it failed again. So they'll try again later. They won't give up. So.
Oh, they won't. One day we'll get a Jackpot movie by Sony.
Definitely.
Oh, I'm sure.
I can definitely see it. Oh my God. Jackpot! Oh no. Folks, on top of Free Comic Book Day, of course, the Game of Tunes Blip Blitz finally ended, and our pal Gizmo won the whole thing.
We all lost, right? None of us had Gizmo, right? We all lost.
Yeah,
right?
we all lost. Nobody had Gizmo.
No, wait a minute. You say you don't have Gizmo in the beginning, you're saying, or at the end?
In the beginning.
In the beginning? Oh, yeah. I was so pissed off that Gizmo beat Indy. I just
See, I had a feeling Paul was like, man, he won. Yeah, Gizmo like destroyed everybody he was up against.
But you know what it is? I showed it to a coworker, like, and she looked at all the pins and she was like, you know what? I want to vote for Gizmo. You know what? That's a very cute pin, man. And she's not into like all this dope. She's not into like all the stuff that we're into, but she was like, you know what? That's a cute pin. I'm gonna vote for Gizmo. It's a really good design.
He did a good job. Russ did a great job.
Sonic beat Indy. That's why I ragged on Sonic and voted for Gizmo. That's what I did.
Was it Sonic? I thought it was Gizmo.
No, Sonic beat Indy. If you go back.
Oh yeah, you're right. There you go.
Yeah, I was so pissed off at Sonic, so that's why I voted for Gizmo.
I gotta say,
I was gonna vote for the Mandalorian, but he wasn't in it, so it was Boba Fett, so it's okay.
I love the Blip Blitz, of course. Look at this stuff, man.
That just
This is how it started off.
That's okay.
And then we ended up with the final 8. Where is it? The final 8. There it goes. And then, of course, that led to the final 2 or the final 4. And yeah, it was a great fight. And Gizmo won it. You know, I wanted Sonic to win. I really can't say anything about Gizmo. You know, I know even Tony was like, hey.
I tried, but I got nothing against it. But I tried.
So what happens to the winner? If this is the winner, what happens?
So Russ from Game of Tunes, he makes his blip chips. His blip chips are these magnetic chips that are great to play around with, you know, and this becomes the new blip chip. So that's what happened to him. So he'll have them at the next event that they're at, and I think that might be Cradle Con.
Oh, great.
So at the very beginning, you pick a character, and if your character wins, you win them for free. So
yeah, so here are the blip chips. You know, they're great little things, and he has. I know this character right here. That's my Hugbert right there.
They look large. How big are they? They look like they're about 5 inches tall.
They're about this big. Yeah.
They're this
4 inches. Oh, okay.
Oh, hey, look, he has it. Here we go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
It is great. It's a good representation of your character. It's like swag and a business card because you can add a chip to it. You can add a web address to it, and it'll take the person to the address through the phone. So you know, if you're looking for something, folks, hit Russ up. He does them, and it's pretty cheap too.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap that you can actually sell them for $10 a piece, which is a pretty good price.
There aren't many things at comic conventions you could buy for $10.
Yeah, that's why we like the blip chip. One of the reasons we like the blip chip. You know, it's great. He does a great job. Onrie, I can see that you have like 28 hours to go, right?
Yep, and less than $200 until we're funded.
You are right there, man. You can taste it.
I can taste it. It's like, you know, It's like you ever been like really hungry? It's like a long day, like you worked really hard, and like you're happy with like how you did it. Now you're just like famished, and you want to like eat, and you want to like sit down at the table and like celebrate, kind of a thing. That's I can feel that. I can seriously that it's like that moment you step in the restaurant and they're like, oh, how many people are gonna be here? Like, we'll get your seat right away, and you can smell everything coming out of the kitchen. That's
oh my god.
That's that feeling right now, we're that close. We're that close.
Oh my god, that beautiful smell, and your stomach starts to grumble.
Yeah.
The food's coming.
Gotta wash my hands, make a quick stop, take care of business.
Hey Ralph, can you refresh the page?
Ooh.
Oh man.
Happened.
Oh man.
Look, folks. Oh wait, no. Of course, it won't refresh the right way. Come on.
Oh wait a minute. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I did. Oh, you got me.
There we go.
Oh, look, it went up by itself.
Oh man, hey, Paul, thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I mean, I got the books from Comic-Con, so they're really great.
Right on, man. Well, here's what's really great. Our latest issue's done already, and we're waiting to receive the books from the printer. So like we're planning a very rapid fulfillment process this time. So
nice.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate everybody backing. This is fantastic.
I gotta say, we've known each other for longer than Bitten Apple's been around.
Oh, way back, brother, way back.
For longer than Bitten Apple's been around.
Hey, well, you know what? What you do for the community, man, I appreciate it so much. I mean, you are helping out like everybody who does a Kickstarter, all the independents. We're all like, have you gotten on Bitten Apple? You got to get on Bitten Apple. You got to reach out to Raph. You got to get on his show. Like everybody who is doing Kickstarter is trying to do your show. Like this is a priority.
I appreciate that. And I got to say, like, I bought your book. Oh, my God. I saw you at New York Comic Con. It probably was 2012 or 2013. Yeah? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And that's when I was still with the other company.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was helping somebody else out back then. We weren't Bitten Apple yet. And I got to say, dude, I bring that up because these books, these series have been a long time in the making. You've been making them now for like
17 years. 17 years. Yeah. Wow. And that's not counting the years that I spent doing the research too. So like, if you really want to think about it, it's like almost been 20 years since I've been actually I think it has been 20 years now since I like this because I discovered Yi Soon Shin in 2006. So it's literally been 20 years now. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's 20 years, yeah.
Yeah, but like since we started publishing it, like the first issue was published in 2009. Technically, even was it 2000? Oh, well, I started producing pages in 2008, but we finished the first issue in 2009.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's a long time, brother.
It is a long time.
How do you? Because I'm thinking about this as how we look at the industry right now, especially the indie industry. How are you able to accomplish this? Because a lot of the indie guys that we knew from back then had been gone. They didn't even finish their series.
Well, it's always unfortunate when that happens, and this business will certainly test you. That's definitely how things go, and circumstances change. Like if you look at it, printing 20 years ago was a lot cheaper and a lot easier than it is today internationally. Because back then people were printing overseas, and we were getting like books at, depending on how many copies you printed, like 30 cents a copy. Now you're lucky if you can get them at like $1 a pop. So that drives the market value up higher, and there's really nothing you can do about that. But really, I think it's I never try to blame economics for what's happening. It's just this is fluctuation. This is capitalism, and things change all the time. Like what goes up wants to come down. I was just talking with another creator, and it's like this is I look at this year as a stability year where you're not, I'm not trying to make more money this year. I'm trying to survive at the level I'm at, and just keep things going. Because even when we produced the first issue, we produced the first issue in 2008. Does anybody remember what was going on economically in 2008? We had
wasn't that the bank collapse?
Yeah, banks collapsing, things were going crazy, and I decided to produce a comic book at that time while I was working in the financial industry and watching people lose their jobs left and right. So it's like things like that. There's never a good time to be in this business. But if you're really passionate about it, passion goes a long way regardless of what industry you're in. And if you are really, really care about what you're doing, you will find a way to survive. You will find a way to keep pushing forward. And I've been very fortunate in terms of the support I've had from family, from friends, and from everybody in order to get to this point. But I also I made a decision with this. I put all my eggs into this series here and into the books I publish. And I didn't pursue, trying to get in with other companies. I just wanted to focus on myself. And it took me a while. I mean, for the first 5 years I was publishing comics, I wasn't making any money. I was making money selling, but I wasn't paying myself anything. I didn't have a cut or anything. So
that's the important part. Yeah.
That first 5 years was tough, but then I made a decision one day. I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing at shows. There's room to grow here. So I'm going to start applying myself. And even then it was not, an ideal time to start paying myself because there was some other economical balloon that burst or whatever. And, but I had a second kid on the way and I'm like, I got to start paying myself something. So, I started making money and investing more time into it. And, I love what I do. We were talking before we got on the air that, I really love going to cons and engaging with people and cons are kind of like an up and down flow too. Some cons are better than others. Some years at cons go like this. Like last year, a lot of people were like, I had my best New York Comic Con ever. Oh my God, New York Comic Con's great. It wasn't the best year for me. It was a tougher year for me financially, emotionally. It was, things fluctuate. You don't know it could be things that I did, things that are happening with other people. And so I think the most important thing is to just put your best foot forward, do the best you can, and just keep moving, keep going, And it's a tough.
Your reaction was what I heard a lot at New York Comic Con last year, Onrie.
Yeah.
And it wasn't people selling comics. There's a guy doing like 3D poses of people. And he said, we're in Washington, you couldn't get enough people in to do it. I mean, it was just, he was going gangbusters. New York City Comic Con, he had like no traffic. And it's just like, I think it was a strange con last year. I really do.
Here's what I kind of come to realize about it because I've noticed the same type of flow in a lot of cons. Particularly I was at Emerald City this year, and Emerald City was slammed. And that kind of becomes the problem is when these shows become so busy. And Carl, I think we can both relate to this because we were right across from each other, even though this is the first time we're meeting. But did you not feel that when people got to where we were, it was almost like there was a funnel and then we were at the area where people would disperse. It's like everybody's shuffling. And then when they get to our space, they're all like, boom, it's like they're on the highway again and they're trying to get to the bathroom or they're trying to get to that booth that they've been trying to get to for the last 30 minutes. And it's like people just can't stop. And I don't think it's anything personal. I don't think it was like, hey, people just don't want to spend money. It's just that there are too many people on the floor at this point. And so it becomes more about trying to fight for people's attention in an environment where you just can't allot it to because they're overwhelmed. I mean, if you think about it, we're used to this stuff when we're exhibiting because we do this shit all the time. For us, it's just another day in the office. But for a lot of those people, it might be their first con in a long time. They might have a very specific thing that they came to this convention to do, and they don't like being around a lot of people. And for a lot of other people, many other people, it's their first convention period. So how do you want to interface with them? And I don't think I was really in that mindset last year. I was like, I spend a lot of money to be here. I want to make money. I want this all to pay off. I want this. I want that. And you have to leave your own needs and desires at the door at these shows. And that could be a really hard thing to do when you have bills to pay and you have, things to do. So it's, it really does come down to where you can get yourself mentally. And I feel like the same way about Kickstarter too. Like for me, the entire experience of Kickstarter is like being at one long convention that goes on for 30 days. And I think this is the most relaxed I've ever been in a campaign, like in all the ones that I've done. And it's mostly just because whenever I feel like, oh man, things are tough and all this stuff, I just kind of remind myself why I'm doing this. And I think back to myself when I was 20 years old and being like, man, I really want to work in the comic book industry one day. And it's like, here I am, I'm doing it now. So what do I have to complain about? 20-year-old me would be like shitting his pants that I actually got this far. And there's no career path, that, lights the way for us, right? We all got to be our own benchmarks. We all got to set our own, our own path for this. This is really, it's like you're walking through the dark with like a little candlelight as you make each step. And then, as you make progress, there's more light that illuminates the way, And
you, at the same time, you're also doing a history comic book or history books, which is not exactly in the flow of things, but you do well with these.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think history, I hate the fact that, history has that one thing where it's like, oh, that's the genre thing. Like, that's like, okay, this is a superhero book. It's like, fuck, how many people who make superhero books feel like their superhero book is special? It's special to them because it is different. Like every project is unique. And when people think of history, they think of being in school and being forced to learn about like the Declaration of Independence kind of a thing. But like we took history as sort of like the veneer of the story that we're talking about, which is about characters, and it's an epic. And we actually use the same type of formatting that like Star Wars did. I mean, there's no sci-fi in it, but it's the same type of structure as a trilogy. And we wanted you to be invested in these characters and care about what's happening. You're stepping into this world of war and all this kind of stuff. And we're using history as the veneer. We're using Asian culture as the veneer, and we're making it like it's a like a Bronze Age Marvel comic where you can just step in and feel immersed with the characters, immersed with all the events that are occurring, and suddenly it doesn't feel like you're reading a book about history. It feels like you're there at this moment, seeing all this stuff unfold, and then you can say, well, hey, I know about this now. It's like the payoff, the cherry on top is this stuff happened, and now you're a little bit more aware of the world because of it. And that's a really wonderful, cherry on top.
I told you back then when I bought the book from you, when I first saw you, because I was passing by and we started talking. We went into a big geek out from the first one.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I love seeing history books because you don't usually see them, and then you're doing it in a way that is not that you don't usually see them as well. Because sometimes the history books are just plain history, but you're doing a great story and you're bringing it to life.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. It takes a lot of time. Right now too, we're working on the final issue of the series. So issue 12, which will be coming out next year, that ends everything. And I can't talk about any of it yet because there's a major twist in this latest issue, which is going to set up the for the final issue. And that's the thing. It's like when you get to that final issue, you don't want any lingering plot points where you're like, oh shit, I forgot to tie that up. You need everything to be tight. And it takes a long time to produce this book. I mean, honestly, for some people, it's ludicrous to think that it would take 17 years to produce 11 comics, especially when you got Captain America coming out every month. And granted, the creators who are working at Marvel and DC, they're working on much different scale and much tighter deadlines. They have to keep producing at a very rapid rate. We have the advantage of taking our time, which can be advantageous, but can also be, a bit limiting if too much time passes between when you start a project and when it's released. And so, we've been working really diligently to make sure that we at least release on a steady basis. But also my job itself is not just making the comic. It's also touring with the comic. It's publishing it. I have to wear so many different hats. So I only go to Kickstarter maybe once a year, twice if feel really compelled to do it. But yeah, typically speaking, it's a pretty focused job that requires me to do all these different things and be creative in very different ways. You know.
Look at that young man right there.
I used to tell people that was me when I was older.
Oh, dude, I remember when we first talked about this. This was like a big thing for you. You were like, "Oh my God, look at this," you know, and you were excited, and you were like, "Oh, Stan Lee," and then you really liked the book, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah." Stan was incredible, you know. And I didn't know him personally the way that some people do, you know, that a lot of people do. I've shared a lot of stories with people over the years, but the one thing I got to say is that I don't think comics would be where they are right now if it wasn't for Stan Lee, you know, and his ability to engage with the audience and
Yep.
you know, really make people feel excited about this hobby, and it's really he was the best. And meeting him in person,
he was a great ambassador for comics. Like just,
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, he'd poke some jabs at DC here and there, or like even when I met him for the first time, you know, that was when Walking Dead was like the hottest shit ever, and he was even poking fun at that. He was like, I was just remembering it the other day. I walked into his office. So when I met Stan Lee, it was October of 2010, and that was when the Walking Dead TV show just dropped. And this was a big deal for us, right? I mean, it's like, this is the first time we're seeing, quote unquote, an independent publisher produce a TV show that is getting like mass like appeal. Yeah. And like, even if you went to like New York Comic Con that year, big banners with The Walking Dead. And I mean, this is when you see that for the first time, it's like, holy shit, that's opening up the floodgates. That's saying there is potential in this industry. Well, you know, Stan being Stan, this is the moment before everything for him kind of blew up with all those cameos. I mean, he had made cameos at that point, but you know, this is before Avengers came out, and that's when I want to say things really got, you know, popped off. Right. You know, he made a gesture at Walking Dead, and he goes, "I never understood zombies." He's like, "If I died and suddenly came back to life, I'd be so happy I was alive again. I wouldn't just want to see everybody that I love and care about." You know, that was Stan. You know, and here I am in his office, and in Beverly Hills, like I'm in his territory. I'm in his like most, you know, like this is his most intimate setting. This is where he spends the most of his time, and you know, he treated me like a guest in his home. And he was really kind, and I'm just so lucky that I got that endorsement from Stan. So yeah, very, very, very happy about that. And honestly, like that's, you know, what he taught me in that moment was what I had to become for my book. Because if I was just like, you know, nerdy history guy who's, you know, talking with that like mundane, boring voice, it's like I don't think I'd be able to do this for a living. This would just be a hobby, and I would have moved on and done something else in my life, which probably would have made a lot of other people happy. But you know,
well, we've been there for that one. You know, there's a lot of people who be like, "Oh, Rob, why are you doing this?" And I'm like, "Shut up."
Yeah.
Oh, this is
well. You're doing it because you're compelled to do it, and honestly, at the end of the day, when we're all going to leave this world at some point, and when I look back on it, what I'd done throughout my life, I want to say that I did what I wanted to do because I was passionate about doing it, and I wanted to contribute to the world by pursuing that path. I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing because that's not what worked for me. Like, and we only get one shot at life, and I think we owe it to ourselves to move forward and to where we can, of course, and do the things that make us feel whole, not just happy, but whole.
I gotta say, like, I've been with your books for a while. But this book seems different.
It is different. It is very different. But at the same time, it's going to feel like the story continues. The reason why this one's going to feel different is we had a change in the art style, which we've worked very closely with the creative team to make sure that this was actually the previous artist. in that image below. But we brought Dexter Wee on, who I developed a really close working relationship with on another series I did called Warline, which I've come on here and talked about before. And
Warline, I love Warline.
yeah. So Dexter and I, we worked really closely on Warline. I really enjoyed his process. Like he's a straight up like sequential artist. You know, there are a lot of artists who come into this business and they're like, this sequential stuff is hard, doesn't pay much. We're just gonna stick with covers. I'll do covers for you, but I don't have time or capacity for sequentials. Like Dexter is a real, you know, he's obsessed with the process, and
this
he's
art
really,
looks
really
beautiful,
good.
man.
Yeah, this is cool. This is actually it was initially just a concept, but what I did was I turned it into a variant cover.
Nice.
And if you guys know like what they've been doing with the Absolute Batman line, they did like this. What was it? They did that Absolute sketch variant. So we did a select. Yeah, we did something like that. So, but we're introducing a new character in this issue here. So this is actually like a first appearance for a character, and you know, she's tied to everything that has happened in the story so far, but we don't really know how yet. And this is like a pivotal moment in the story. And there's been a huge gap in between when issue 10 and issue 11 were actually produced, because issue 10, I was producing this series with David Anthony Kraft, who worked at Marvel for a long time. You know, he worked in the bullpen, and he wrote She-Hulk, and he did Defenders, and then he went over to DC and worked on World's Finest and did all kinds of stuff. And then he published the Comics Interview for a long time. And he died in 2021 from COVID. Yeah. And so I was really distraught by that, because it was like we had been doing the whole series together, and we had really big plans for it. And him passing away that really hit hard. And so I took some time away from Yi Soon Shin. I kind of like put a pin in it, and I did that for my own mental clarity and for my own sanity, so that I could deal with what I need to deal with and then return to it and finish it. And so we focused on Warline, which was a really good experience for me, because it allowed me to work off of a fresh palette and prove to myself that I could come back to this and work on it again. And developing the relationship I did with Dexter, you know, it's been really great. We've never, you know, producing this book has never come together so naturally and so fluidly. And he's just totally crushing it. I love it. I can't wait for you guys to see what we've done with the final issue. Like the cover of the final issue is so fucking sick. It is ridiculous. And we're doing things with the final issue that we've never done before throughout the entire series, and stuff that I think is really going to get a lot of those collectors like really excited. So I just can't wait to get to that final issue. That's going to be like a really hot moment for us.
Folks, you need to get on this. It's a fantastic book. I bought it since I first met our pal here, and you know, it's just something you should get. I actually think I have I've bought the first series twice.
Oh wow! Okay.
That's a lot.
Well, hey, you know what? I'll tell you something. That's a good thing that you did that, because we're actually phasing out our single issues. That's something that I've been telling people throughout this entire campaign, is that this is it for single issues. We're printing up really small runs to be able to sell through the books that we have presently. And once we sell through all our single issues, we're moving into soft cover trades, and we're just going to be putting those out going forward. And we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff with that too. Like that's going to be the point where I get to bring in like more well-known creators to do covers for those books, and just have some fun with the design and do some cool things with it. But if you want the single issues, if you're a single issue collector, now is the time to jump on Yi Soon Shin and get all 11 of those single issues before, you know, we sell through them all, because these books will not be reprinted.
That's what you call enticing, folks. That's what you call enticing. See, and more reasons for you to go support the Kickstarter. I've put the links into the comments section there. And I wanted to ask you, Carl, because you know you've been doing this for a long time now. You've been doing this for
when you say this, what are we saying? What are we talking about?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've been doing this for a long time. All this beautiful stuff, all the pop stuff you've been doing it for a long time. You've come through the ups and downs of the industry. You know, you've seen comics and how they've become. you know, so you kind of understand a lot of what Onrie was saying when it comes to like publishing your own books or doing your own stuff, because I feel like you've constantly been doing your own thing.
Yeah, Onrie is right on, man. You have a excellent grasp of where this has been over the last 20 years. I've been more optically connected to comic books for quite a while, but I came by way of film production because that was my major in college.
Dude, I loved that show. I'm so sorry. I love Celebrity Deathmatch. That was the best show. When Hanson got killed on Celebrity Deathmatch, I laughed my ass off. Like, I loved Celebrity Deathmatch. That was the best show. Oh my god, it was so great.
So that episode was the episode that actually launched the series. There was a lot riding on it, and what MTV did back when MTV was a thing, they were very wise to premiere that piece during the it was at halftime of the Super Bowl, and they did so much promotion that everybody knew when the Super Bowl came, the halftime came, everybody switched over to MTV. Yeah. And it was like, I don't know who was watching the Super Bowl at that point. The MTV numbers just went through the roof. I heard through the producer, and he said, get ready to make more puppets because we were green lit. We're gonna do a series, which is really funny in some ways because you're thinking this is a slam dunk. Why, but you have to go through this is what network television and cable television was like back then. You had to prove yourself every step of the way.
Yeah.
So from that point forward, we were making 20 to 25 puppets every 2 weeks. We were churning them out. It was, that was our take on it. And luckily we were able to we did about 2 seasons. And then I was like, I'm exhausted. I gotta do at that time, we still did a lot of in-studio TV commercials. So everything from props to costumes to miniatures to models to makeup effects. That's the kind of stuff we did. And as you can see, I'll be at Cradle Con, which is always fun. This is I'm going to say my 4th year going back. It's a great show. It's a mixture of a lot of different things. And I know some of you are not in town. So if you've never been to Cradle Con, you really should go for the museum, if nothing else. It is an amazing museum of aeronautics and space travel, and it's just an amazing museum. And once a year, they do this kind of show where it's a lot of pop culture, a lot of comic books, a lot of creators, a lot of authors, a lot of artists. It's really kind of cool.
Michael Supreme says Celebrity Deathmatch deserves a reboot.
Totally, especially with like the celebrities I'd want to see like get killed now. Like one thing I wanted to mention too was like they turned you guys turned Marilyn Manson into like the coolest thing since The Undertaker.
Oh yeah,
like, that was so great. And like
I wouldn't be surprised if it totally gave him a bump in his career.
Totally.
He used to show up at the office all the time, but so did Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne was also a big favorite, and the wrestler Stone Cold Steve Austin was a big favorite. My personal favorite was Mills Lane, who was the real thing, the real ref, turned into the animated ref, turned into a TV, what do you call it, a reality TV show judge. I mean, what kind of career is that? Oh my God, that's like the best career ever.
Dude. Yeah, Cradle's amazing. Seamus is supposed to be here on the show today to talk more about behind the scenes of Cradle. I think he has something come up today, but he will be here next week when we do the Cradle shows. We're going to have a Cradle show on Monday. We're going to have a Cradle show on Tuesday. Because on Wednesday next week, we got a whole other show.
Well, I won't have to go to Cradle Con then. Why?
Yep. We're doing our lead up to Cradle Con. Oh my gosh! So it's gonna be great to see Carl at Cradle, and of course, Carl, you are up to something similar now, aren't you?
So after we wrapped on Yeah, that's
this is hysterical. I love it.
So after we wrapped on Celebrity Deathmatch, or at least I wrapped on Celebrity Deathmatch, I co-produced a TV series with a business partner in California. Bob Underwood was showrunner and lead writer, and I directed the animation, and my studio produced well over 600 puppets for the show. That doesn't mean 600 characters, that people misunderstand that. We would make 2 and 3 copies of the same character, because the animators, if anybody knows about stop motion, you got to take the puppet, you got to move it, you got to bend it.
I thought it was all clay. I always thought it was clay, because like you could. It's so crazy. Like even with the blood, like when so this was you created, these were puppets.
Yeah. So the puppets were made to look like clay, even in Celebrity Deathmatch. It was part of their marketing to say claymation this, claymation that, but very little clay was used, and no clay was hurt during the making of these shows. It was they were foam rubber puppets. Originally, they gave me these very large puppets. They wanted me to figure out how to animate, and they were so heavy. I said they need to be made out of foam rubber, and that's what we did. We would sculpt the clay characters. We would make plaster molds, pull out the clay, make wire armatures, inject foam rubber latex. That was a whole baking process, trimming, detailing, painting. These finished products, these characters are foam rubber, basically, and their heads are hard plastic. And then we used to make the little replacement mouths so that they can do the A-E-I-O-U and screaming and whatnot. And we would use clay heads once in a while if somebody got their head smashed, or popped off or whatever. So we would make duplicates, and that was just part of the whole process. And I'll tell you, if you just go back, 20 plus 25 years or more, when I started seeing how popular the CG movies were, I remember thinking, oh, stop motion's dead. This is over with. What kind of career am I doing here? But what's really happened is I think people embrace stop motion as animation because it's very tactile. You could grab it, you could manipulate it. It's got a great feel to it that AI just doesn't have, that AI tries to copy. And, I'm totally against AI. All it does is steal from all the creators who are right here on the page with me. And, we need to hold companies accountable for stealing from other people and other creators.
Agreed.
Because that's what they do. So I like to do things the old-fashioned way. I like 3-dimensional puppets. I like the pencil drawings before they get inked in digital and colored in digital. And my first comic series, Spontanea, was all pencil drawn. So, and I was very lucky to get hold of a lot of those pages. So yeah, there she is.
That's really badass. So that is so cool, man. I had no idea that you did this stuff. And so like, what's your experience been like in terms of going from, I want to say animation, or like, I still consider it animation, to making comics.
It is animation. Was it
an easy segue? Yeah. Was it an easy segue for you, like once you got into comics?
Well, it's a funny thing. I've been optically connected to comics for a long time, and there's been so many changes. So to me, it was just another industry that I had to learn how to do. And luckily for me, people like Ralph, I've been learning from him and so many other people, and I get to see different ways that things are done. And, but the toughest thing to an indie like ourselves is just always going to be the amount of hours you got to put in. You got to market it yourself. You got to advertise it yourself. You got to promote it yourself. I mean, and it does work, but I think some of these guys already know I teach college. I teach at School of Visual Arts in Manhattan. And one of the things I tell the students all the time is it's not difficult, it's complicated.
Yeah.
And because there are just a zillion steps you got to go through.
Oh my God.
And you really can't miss many of them because that's how these things get made. And I think most people who attempt creative projects, they just get discouraged by the complexity of it, and they, it's too hard. No, it's not hard. It's just complicated. And if you accept the notion, it's complicated, then you could start to figure out how to navigate through it. Go to comic shows, seek out people like us and ask us questions. I do it all the time. I get a million questions every show I do, whether it's a big show or a small show. I get the barrage of questions of how do I do this? How do I do that? I'm an aspiring writer or aspiring artist, and where do I go from here? And like you were saying, Onrie, just a little while ago, is if you're not really passionate about this, don't do it.
Yeah,
it's gonna lead to heartache. Be a fan. There's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy buying the comic, collecting the comic, reading the comic. Do your own little drawings of the comic. Do all that stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. But you really gotta making my own comic is something I've been wanting to do since I was just really tiny. And when COVID happened, it was the entertainment industry changed dramatically.
Yeah.
The last TV series I produced, which turned into Parallel Hollywood, which is, you were just showing the clips there of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Adam Sandler and some of the other characters. So that was a show that my partner and I created that the network chose not to do anything with. So it came back to the creators, which was myself and Bob Underwood, and we own the series. So we decided to break it up into segments and broadcast it, on a YouTube channel. So that's our YouTube channel, Parallel Hollywood. And we've got about maybe 15 clips up there. And every week we put up like 2 or 3. We're recording some new segments now about, who are the creators behind the show, and, what was our methodology and why are we doing this and all that stuff. So the live behind the scenes clips are going to go up pretty soon. And there's Woody Allen, because, he's always funny no matter what he's doing. And he's always up to something. So
this was great when I saw it back then. This is great now.
What is wrong with these studios? Because there's so many bad TV shows that get on the air.
Yeah, so I can answer your question, man. It's crazy. It's a crazy answer, and you're not going to believe me. The heads of most, not all, most studios and networks have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally. Point at someone like, all right, you make a show. I mean, there are many that are very successful because they do know what they're doing. I mean, there was we just spoke about Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Somebody looked at this comic book and went, this can really work. And they did. They found the way to get the right writer, director, producer. Look at the careers that the original, 10 or 15 actors, look where their careers are now. One of them's the Punisher. Yeah. Oh my God. He's on Broadway now doing other things. Was he a good actor before that? Of course. But what gave him the big push? It was Walking Dead.
Yep.
How do you forget that character? He was more frightening than the zombies.
Oh, definitely.
So, what's so great and what resonates, I love that you said that the studios don't know what they're doing, because that's that just shows how human the whole process is that no one knows what's going to stick. And, you always hear about people being kind of malicious about what the studios are doing. Like, they're trying to do this or they're trying to do that. And, they have, they're trying to hurt fans or whatever, but I don't think that's ever the case. Like, no one wakes up and no one in this business has the privilege or audacity to wake up and say, I'm going to destroy someone's, career or life just because it's entertaining for me. Like, this is something that, even studios can live or die by. How many studios have come up and gone down because they made the wrong choice. They bet on the wrong horse. So it's really interesting. Like, this is all just one big, lovely experiment. And even when you're talking about Celebrity Deathmatch, it's like you were mentioning how, this became like the biggest thing ever, that people stopped watching the Super Bowl to like check out the stuff that was going on with it. I didn't know that.
I have no idea why Celebrity Deathmatch came to an end, and I get a lot of people asking me that question, like, why don't they bring it back? Why did they kill it in the first place? I mean, why would you kill a show that's doing well? You always come back to that question, and but they did that a lot. I remember just a handful of years after Celebrity Deathmatch was canceled, I had a lot of friends working at Nickelodeon, and they were doing all sorts of digital work, design work, and mostly for the animated shows, Nickelodeon and the other Cartoon Network and whatever. And MTV suddenly decided, well, we're not going to do animation anymore. And all my friends were thrown out of work. It was like, what? Why would you make that decision? What are you thinking?
It's funny. The more I deal with, I tell people all the time, every time, the more I deal with management, the more the decisions don't make any sense to me, because they make these decisions. And I agree with Onrie. I feel like sometimes people think it's on purpose, or I feel like sometimes what happens is management comes into a location and they go, I know what I'm doing. I know how to make money. I know what decisions we need to make. And those are the decisions we need to make. And it's not coming from a place of malice. It's coming from a place of, yeah, and again, those managers I've hated all my life because, they sit there and they plan something I would make. And then you try to explain to them, no, that's not how this works. But I know better than you.
It just seems as just corporate greed. It seems like, well, hey, this made money, so let's just make something just like this so we can keep making money. You got to do different things. I mean, I don't know. Well, maybe if you watch, I lived through stuff the 80s and 90s, and maybe it's true. Maybe documentaries glorify it or just talk about the good stories, but it just seemed like they were just throwing everything at the wall and just trying to find out what the public liked instead of them telling us this is what you're gonna like. And we have Alf, who would sign off on that? It's like all these crazy shows. I don't know.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. And of course, you are doing something new, which we were going to talk about today, but stuff happened. But we want to give the audience a preview because you're going to go to Kickstarter with this soon.
Yeah, short story there. I started again because I'm kind of the novice at this. I wanted to learn from the ground up. So my Spontanea book was my learning platform. And I did finish 6 issues. We did make a paperback. It's available on Amazon. It's available for on Ingram Spark. So if there's any libraries out there, they can pick it up. And in the meantime, I was slowly putting together Penny Poisenberry in the Gothic Kingdom. And we finished about 75 pages out of 100. And I got to a point where I need help. So Kickstarter is where we went, and we were supposed to launch today, but it didn't really go through. There were some technical problems.
Carl, it's up.
What's that?
It's up. I'm on your page now. You got 3 backers already.
Yeah, I think that's part of the technical issue, because if you go to the page and scroll down, where do you how do you put money in? How do you back it?
Yeah, the rewards aren't displayed.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about. Who are these 3 backers? And,
how did they get in?
Yeah, the last time I looked, it said, $208, and I'm like, what? How? What? So I'm waiting to hear back from Kickstarter. We're probably going to figure out a new launch date, and I'll just let everybody know that's when it's going to be. But until
that's so
we get
frustrating,
there,
when you do all that work.
Yes,
and honestly, just looking at this right now, it looks like you've really put a lot of time into the bones of this. And
definitely, he did.
When Kickstarter goes off and starts running, and everything is not where it should be, that can really kind of hurt you. So that sucks. But I think you're gonna I think it's glad. I'm glad you're acknowledging it, and like getting ready to do it to do it the way that you intend to do it, so that like we can come on and back this, because I definitely want to be a part of this. Looks cool. Love the cover too.
Oh,
the cover is so great, and like now that I know who you are, I have to.
I mean, when I was looking through, I do a lot of research. I'm one of those people. I do my homework, and I was looking at the amount of graphic novels for like the middle grade / young adult reader, and I just felt like on Kickstarter there weren't a heck of a lot.
No, they're not.
Or they got so buried because like there's not enough people investing in them. So I thought this would be a good fit. There are 2 different covers. Those are the varying covers right there. And the my illustrator who lives in Italy, she did all the illustration inside the book. She did the cover with the stained glass window. I wanted her to color that her way. And then I had another colorist, Martina, and she did that other color with all the weird green colors. I wanted her interpretation, and I gave her a very specific assignment. I said, did you ever read Goosebumps? And she was like, oh, yeah, I grew up on Goosebumps. I said, that's what I want. I want a crazy Goosebumps cover. And that's what she turned out. And it's been a lot of fun. My colorist for the interior is Antonella, and she lives in Argentina. So I got a lot of people all around the place helping me with this, but it's been quite a journey, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. It's 75% done, another 25 pages, and did it. That's where we're going. That's our goal.
What's really great about that too is like now when you launch, you'll be even that much closer to being ready for it, and like that's awesome. I just sent you a friend request, and I'd love to invite you on my show when you launch too, man. This is so cool. I'm so glad I met you today.
Oh, thank you. Your request is on Instagram?
I followed you on Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, okay. Then I'll find you. I'll find you back.
And Raph, thanks for the connect, man. That's awesome.
Oh, no problem. I had a feeling you two would be great on this show, and I was right.
Well, the thing too is like this is a really small business, and
it is.
You're going to meet, and it's like I have to say, like when I found out that Carl worked on Celebrity Deathmatch, it's like that contributed to me getting to where I am now as a comics writer in its own way. Well, it does, because it's like we're impacted by all the things that we see growing up, and like that show. I was watching MTV's Oddities, and that's where they had the Max TV show, and that was the Head. I love the Head. The Head was awesome. Like MTV was doing so much stuff. I mean, their animated division was huge.
It looked like Liquid Television and Eon Flux.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah, Eon Flux was crazy. Like that was great. Beavis and Butthead, all that stuff was fantastic. And yeah, and just seeing a Celebrity Deathmatch, like that came out around the time I was like in 8th grade, and it was just funny. It was funny, and like especially like back then, the way you guys were like controversially like showing the things that we all wanted to see in our heads. Like as a 13-year-old kid, seeing all these girls gush over Hanson, I so wanted to see him get the shit kicked out of him. And then the way they were fighting on the show was hilarious. Like I will never forget that. It was great. There was another one too. Well, like there was
I have one funny story about Hanson. I was at Terrificon up in Connecticut at Mohegan Sun this past August, and everybody kept stopping at the table, going, Hanson's here. I said,
awesome.
Where? And they said, you're playing at the auditorium of the show right in this building, in this giant building. And I'm like, well, if you see them, tell them to stop by. I had an 8x10 with them.
Did they come by?
No, they didn't.
Oh,
that would have been great.
That would have been fun.
Excellent.
That would have been so great. How about Marilyn? I mean, Marilyn Manson. That would have been cool to meet him too. But there were so many, like all the. I'm forgetting a lot of the fights right now. I just remember.
I'll tell you who I met. Leo DiCaprio, and a friend of mine introduced me to him because we had just finished the episode where. What was it? Jack Nicholson killed him.
Yes. Oh my God, that was so great. Jack Nicholson. I forgot how awesome he was on that show too. He like killed so many people. It was great.
So a friend of mine said, "Well, he's coming over. We're doing business. Maybe you want to, you'd like to meet him." I said, "Are you kidding?" He said, "Can you make a puppet and bring it?" I said, "Overnight, no, but I could make his head." So we made a little Leo DiCaprio head, and I gave it to him when I met him, and he was very gracious, and he was just like, "Wow, Jack Nicholson killed me in that show."
That's great.
So those are the little fun stories that I get out of it. And then
Shadow
people
Rabbit's
ask
like,
me
"You guys
about
are cool." Shadow, how you doing? Speaking of
Shadow's
Shadow,
there.
Shadow
Hey,
has something
Lewis,
for you,
what's
right?
going on? There it
How
is.
did those heads there for you?
So cool. Yeah, I'm just remembering all the matchups. Like there was Rocky versus Schwarzenegger, I think.
Here's one. Michael Supreme is like, who came up with the Busta Rhymes faces off against William Shakespeare?
One of the questions I get all the time is, do you remember this fight or that fight? And I'm like, no. I don't. I'm sorry. After making 400 puppets, I've worked on nearly 1,000 TV commercials. I've worked on Broadway shows. And then when I did my own series, which became Parallel Hollywood, we did another 600 puppets. You're asking me about one? No, I don't remember. Sorry.
That's a lot, and I feel like people don't think about that, you've been creating all this stuff, and sometimes it's not, it doesn't happen in a timeline. It happens, it's disjointed.
It's all over the place.
Yep. Mikhail Supreme said us, all good. Oh my God. I gotta say, Carl, you are a busy man, just like Onrie here. You're constantly at the shows, you're constantly doing things, you're constantly trying to change what you're doing or do something new.
Yeah, you got to challenge yourself, man. Otherwise you get old and boring. So but the shows I'm doing now, I mean, last year I did about 21 shows, and I know people who do shows every weekend, so that doesn't seem like a lot, but I also teach college, and now we're creating comics under my own brand, which is Comicbook Kid Publishing, and it is a lot. It is a lot, and I'm trying to focus this year on finishing my Penny Poisenberry. That's why we're on Kickstarter. I'm planning on putting Spontaneer on Kickstarter because we got all 6 issues done, and we're almost done with the next 6. So the question is, where were they going to go? What type of distribution? And I have a new person in charge of marketing now. So very soon, Spontaneer will be on Kickstarter, and then probably follow up with that, depending upon how successful it is. Whether we do the second 6 issues, which would be 7 through 12. But I had the most fun writing Spontaneer. I also, because I have screenwriting background and film production background, my goal for Spontaneer was to do what we all want, is to get that TV series, either live action or animated, based on our work. That's the goal, right? That's the end game. So I kind of wrote it in screenplay format so that it would be translate easier onto the screen. In other words, you wouldn't have whoever the network is that licenses the product would turn around and they'll just we'll take a little bit from issue 1 and then a little bit from issue 5, and then we'll go right for the ending in issue 6. And, that would make any creator just cringe.
Oh, it does.
No, we got to go. Don't you see the point? We got to go this way.
There's a line, man.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it was written that way. Don't change.
Exactly. Dude, it's funny. One of the things we always talk about here on the show is when they try to do the Phoenix Saga, in movies, and they change it up so much that it's not the Phoenix Saga. And you're sitting there going, what does Wolverine have to do with the Phoenix Saga? What is this is a love story between Scott and Jean Grey. Why are all these other people in this story?
You know, I could give you proof positive why it doesn't work to switch things up. If you got a comic series and it's very successful and it's doing well and it's popular, you switch it up, and that's why we have all these offshoots like Hulk 1. That movie was weird. Hulk 2, that movie was better, but what? You know? And then Hulk 3 is the one that like we kind of like, you know, that's it's alternate universe. Well, it's alternate universe because you fucked it up the first time. You know, and what happened with Iron Man 2? You know, you're watching it going, you know, then Iron Man 3 gets better. And, you know, it's a perfect example of not following the format that made it successful. We're going to change it. And then you wonder why it doesn't work.
Oh, yeah. We see it all the time.
Yeah.
We definitely see it all the time.
You know, and it's really interesting too how, you know, they can use their mistakes as leverage to do something interesting. Like I don't know how everybody felt about Spider-Man No Way Home, but I think like a lot of fans, like even me, I was like happy to see the old Spider-Mans come back. Even though their respective movies were not necessarily the first two Tobey Maguire movies were good, but like even the third one, it's like it's not like a train wreck or anything, but like those Andrew Garfield movies were not the best movies, especially that second one. Yeah, but like people seeing
the tech suit. I was totally tired of the tech suit. Spider-Man doesn't need a tech suit. What is that about? It's BS.
Yeah. There's problems with all of them, but what's cool is it's like now we get Secret Wars and it's like, or Doomsday, and it's like they're taking like I've been hearing that they're thinking about bringing Eric Bana back as Maestro, or I even heard Lou Ferrigno might come in as Maestro or something.
I've heard Edward Norton might come back. I heard that one.
I heard a lot of rumors.
Yeah, but
it is
gonna be interesting.
Yeah,
it's the best thing.
Like the Phoenix Saga, I think the animated series did a pretty good job with it. I think because that's a long story. You need a lot of episodes. You cannot tell that story in one movie. You just can't. And they tried twice. That doesn't work. So, you know, I think you need at least 2 or 3 movies to tell that story.
I agree.
Yeah. This is a very, very long. The book is like this big. And the book is like half of it. The book is like the Dark Phoenix Saga. Yeah, but they look, so it's like.
Well, that's because when people think the Dark Phoenix Saga, they for some reason they think one book. But it's a lot of issues put together.
There was more. Yeah, there's a lot more that came. There was a lot more that came before. It was a lot longer than that. Yeah. So because if you write that book, she already got the Phoenix powers. That already happened.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It just goes on to her going to the dark side. It's a very long story. So.
It's a big
You can't fill it with 1 movie or 2 movies. You can't. No. I mean, you need like a series. A series could do it, I think.
So here's where all the things come into like a big rotation. Paul, tell the people what you do, because you're fitting perfectly into all this. Besides the fact that you hustle like crazy, like these 2 gentlemen over here. You know, go ahead.
I'm the creator and founder of Time Enforcers, which is it started out as a video game. It came out of COVID with my kids and seeing what virtual learning was and how it fell short with both the educators and the kids. So I really wanted to use the video game format to make learning history fun. And now that's actually turned into multiple projects. And the next project that I'm working on right now, which is what we have a Kickstarter and preview for, is a comic book. The first episode, the comic book was digital. It was entirely digital. This one is going to be a physical copy. And I've taken a passion to making sure that it's going to be done right. It's going to be 48 pages at this point of content. And we have right now 3 artists. They're signed on for variant covers. So I really want to make this, a big splash. I mean, this is a story that I want to tell. I think it's going to be fun to tell. If you scroll down, Ralph, I put in a few panels about the conflict between Toshio and Kaizen, their brothers. And this actually fits into the whole scheme of the storyline, but it just starts out as a conflict between brothers. And I'm really trying to make this more than just, a time travel book. This is really meant to be, in-depth character review and trying to tie everything together. So it's become a passion of mine. I just really enjoy doing it. I have about 5 more pages, maybe 6 more pages left to do, and in the book is done in terms of content. And then, you know, like I said, we'll be offering the variant covers, but also be doing a hardcover edition. One of the things that I did over the past year and a half or so is I commissioned artists to do their interpretation of my characters. So I have about 15, 20 drawings that I have at least, and I'll be featuring those artists in the hardcover edition with their bio and their contact information, along with the artwork they did, just so they can, you know, be a part of this whole project. I'm really passionate about promoting people in this industry. I think it's another way that I can give back. And so the comic book is going to be set to launch. The Kickstarter is going to launch in July. So if you could follow me now, it'd be great. We're at 47 followers, almost to 50. If I can get to 100, I'll be really happy. So I'm really pushing hard on that. And like I said, it's going to be a blast. We're actually doing a preview issue first. We're going to be at Garden State Comic Fest in June. And we're going to be selling the preview issue for $3. It's basically the first 12 pages of the book. This is actually the last page that's going to be in the book, but I think I'm going to make it into a poster. It's just really a lot of fun. All the characters have some premise in history. And if they don't exist in history, then they're named after someone who was historic. And it's really about getting kids involved in terms of learning and getting excited about learning about history, which I think is really overlooked nowadays. So, that's what I love about this project. It's really been a big passion of mine to get this going. It's now morphed into a whole education program where I have a curriculum set up for kids between 5th and 10th grade. And it's going to provide a multivariant way of introducing history to these kids. It's not only, you know, playing a video game, we're going to have a tabletop role-playing game aspect to it. I have a card I can show you that I just finished. I'm close to finishing off. You can see what it looks like. And then we have the graphic novel, which I'm going to be doing on the Kickstarter. And then we have a whole curriculum set up where we get kids back to learning the basics. So there's actually mission journals in place where they actually have to do journaling on a daily basis. They have to write things down. And then they go in, they collaborate, they do research, study research topics that they're interested in learning about, get together, talk about it with one another, and then make a presentation as a team. So it's really getting back to basics and getting kids to learn these things that are really missing with the whole AI adoption. I was just watching TV today on News 12, and they were talking about this teacher who saved this kid from choking. And I'm looking at the classroom, and there's a kid, all the kids are sitting in these little cubicles with headphones on, looking at a computer screen. And I'm saying to myself, I'm crying. It's like, what are we missing here? We're essentially isolating kids within a classroom so they can focus on being isolated. It doesn't make sense to me. Why can't it be a collaborative effort to like discuss ideas and just, you know, and do it while you're there in the class? It's like totally missed opportunities. And that's really what this whole thing is about, is, you know, having the kids start to interact with one another, have discourse. You can have a discussion about things you don't agree with. So what? You move on, but at least you expressed your opinion without having to get upset with one another. So it's really the whole point of what I'm trying to do here. And history is all tied to it. I mean, what's great about this program is that it's infinitesimal. The content is there for anything that I want to build out this whole storyline. I can go back to thousands of people. I'm not going to be short for content. I'm really short for help right now. And that's really the biggest challenge, is getting the content done. So that's one reason why I got the Kickstarter going. I'll be doing the tabletop Kickstarter right after I do this one. So I'm getting close to getting that done. And then, you know, the sky's the limit. I'm really hoping to pilot this program in schools by the fall. And so hopefully I can start text marketing it, get some traction, and hopefully get, you know, schools interested in this, which I'm really excited about. So
respectful. Like seriously, what you're doing is ushering in the next generation of readers for me, because like a lot of the books I do is like history for adults, and it's like you're doing history for like a younger generation. So it's like it's really wonderful how all of this stuff kind of like snowballs and everything. Like this is so awesome. I'm so glad someone's doing this.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
We know that guy.
Yeah.
If I could just share this really quick, I just finished this off this weekend. This is going to be for the tabletop game. This is the first almost finalized card design I got going. Let me just share this really quick. Ralph hasn't even seen it yet. So you guys, this is a premiere of what I'm showing. So give me 1 second. So this is, there's going to be different card components in the game, and one of them is an action card. So you basically got the villains throwing spitballs at the players and what they need to do. And this whole thing is going to be really an easy game to learn and to play. It has a Trivial Pursuit component, but it also has a D&D component as well. So in addition to answering questions for history through Trivial Pursuit, there's actually going to be cards that get involved where the kids have to make up a way to get out of the situation. So it's like they'll be posed with a situation. If you're playing like as Amelia Earhart or maybe Nico Time, you have certain abilities to try and combat that. It's all about using your imagination to try and combat it. So it's gonna be like the best of both worlds: Trivial Pursuit and Dungeons and Dragons. Get it together and have kids use their imagination to get through things, which I think will make it even more fun. So
that's rad. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I've been working more hard on this. I just was trying to figure out a way to make this interesting, because what I loved about Magic was the artwork. I mean, I just looked at the Magic cards just for the artwork. I know I'll never get to that level, but I at least wanted to make it something that had a little bit more dimension to it. So I just wanted to, try and make as much as I could on my own, and then I have to hire artists for this at some point, just so that I can get to the next level in terms of the degree of art. So that's where this is the next step in what I'm looking to do for this. So.
Well, I followed your campaign, so I'm looking forward to the launch of it. And
thanks, Onrie. Appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for backing my campaign, and thank you for supporting me.
I love War Lion, and I love their book you have. I can never pronounce it, but it's just like it's really cool. Right. When I met you at New York last year, just like I'll take everything. I don't care. This is great.
I started introducing both of you because you guys were in the same type of thing, and I'm like, this should be an interesting introduction.
No, that's great. And Paul, I'm sorry I didn't remember that. It was just New York. It was such a crazy.
Well, I can't imagine. I mean, it's like you talk about the funnel effect. It's like the reason why I was running away from tables like yours is because there's too many damn people in the aisle, and I couldn't breathe. It was ridiculous. It was so hot.
There were so many great creators. The guys next to me were doing that Jimi Hendrix Purple Haze, where he becomes like a cosmic hero. Like that book was great, and those guys were hustling too. And it's just like everybody, we're in a really funny spot, I think, on the floor, because it's like everybody goes to Artist Alley at New York Comic Con with intention. They show up at our area by accident, and it's like it shouldn't be that way. In all honesty, considering how much more we have to pay to exhibit at New York Comic Con, we should have some more spotlight effect. But it's still kind of like a wonderful little accident that happens when you get that one person who's like, what the heck is this? I got to check this out, So, it's an interesting environment for sure.
Yeah, I found, Vaughn was there with you when we were there. I know that Vaughn Coleman. And
Vaughn was there. Yeah.
And then the artist next to you, I can't remember her name, but I bought her book too.
Vaughn.
Yeah, it was great to hit your table, man. It was just really a lot of fun.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate it. Good.
Of course, Ralph roped me in. I mean, he's the best roper, man. So it's just like, you got to come to this table, Paul. Okay, I'm there. No problem. Just leave me by the nose. I'll be there. No problem.
It's so funny. Over the years, I've been able to figure out who likes what likes who, and then I'll sit there and go, follow me. One last thing, folks, because on Wednesday, yes, that's right, Wednesday coming up, Madame Sorcière will be here. I am looking forward to that. We haven't seen her in a bit. In her beautiful Sacrimony will be going live next week, Monday. And Matt will be here to talk all about it and tell us all the beautiful stuff about a book about love, life, and death in no particular order. Oh, my God. Matt does a fantastic job. She does the whole thing on her own. She is the artist. She is the letterer. She is the colorer. She does everything. I think my favorite line from her is when she says, I do all this stuff and I can't afford to pay myself. That's why when Onrie said it, I was like, oh, I know that line.
I hate when that happens. It really sucks.
But that's what we are, though. We do all this work. And I don't think people think about this. Here's Mata doing all the bits and pieces to a comic by herself. When she goes to sell the book, if she were to sell the book the way that she needs to be paid, that book would cost a lot of money.
I think that's the case for all of it. So, I mean, it's like when you look at the production process. Like Carl, even going back to your book, it's like, you know, you had to find that artist, and you have to pay that artist, then you have to pay the cost. You have to get all these people involved in the process, and they all get paid before you. You are the last person at the dinner table. But it's the one thing, it's like being a host. Being the last person at the dinner table and seeing everybody who you invited as guests with full bellies, that's the most rewarding thing about it. It's not even about being able to eat. It's being able to see that everybody else that you brought on to make this thing happen was impacted by it in a positive way. So, you know, that's always the goal, and, you know, what we're all trying to strive for.
Oh, definitely. And that's one of the reasons why I love what all the stuff that Maddo does, because, you know, how do you do that? And I would love to be able to do half the stuff that she does.
And 9 issues, that's no small feat.
No, not at all. She's been at this for a while, and she didn't start that long ago. I think this is all in 4 or 5 years, I think. So that's a lot of work.
That's a ton of work, yeah.
So she'll watch the show next week, and Maddo will tell us all about her journey to how she's gotten there. You know, as we try to get her some people to pledge on her amazing and beautiful epic. If you like epic fantasies, this is right up your alley. And of course, Onrie, why don't you tell people one more time where they can find you?
Yeah. So always the best place to find me is on Facebook. Just type in my name, Onrie Kompan. You follow me, I'll follow you. Same thing with Instagram. If you follow me, I'll follow you. You know, for me, it's not about how many followers I have or how many people I'm following. It's just being a part of having a small window and access to, you know, what I'm doing, and likewise, you know, like if you're a creator or whatever, I want to know what you're up to.
Hey,
but
have you seen your page?
I have not seen my page. Oh my God, we funded! Holy crap! Holy crap! Oh man, that's beautiful. And I just got the email. Oh my God, that is awesome! Amazing! I'm so grateful. And hey, Ralph, the fact that I got to do this here on your show, that just makes it that much sweeter. So thank you very much. I had a feeling it was going to happen, but thank you for giving me the platform.
You know, Onrie, you're always welcome. And like I said, we've known each other for so long now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's always great. Like I know people are out there going, well, what does it matter? Years. I'm like, dude. You know, I said it in the beginning of the show. We started this, you know, Onrie and I, with a bunch of people that we knew, and most of those people are gone.
Yes, yeah, you know, but you know, there are some people that still stick or that are still here.
Oh yeah, there's some good numbers. But that's why you people mean so much.
Yeah, there are people that I think have a very bright future too in this business. Like, I'm going to give a big shout out right now to Vaughn Coleman. You know,
Vaughn's amazing.
What I love so much about this kid is he's young. You know, he reminds me of myself. He's a lot younger and has a lot more potential, you know, to get really far in this business. And we want that. We want people like Vaughn in our business. We want young blood into this because they infuse new readers. They get more people excited about this medium and this hobby and everything. Everything everybody's doing is important. But when you have like physically young people in this business saying, I want to pursue a career in this, that says something. So, you know, I want to give him a big shout out. And obviously, like everybody else who's doing stuff for different markets, it's like comics is a continuum that if you can get one person into comics, then you got them in for good. And there is no direct competition the way that people like to think there is. It's not like a boxing match. It's not like it's like Rocky Balboa versus, you know, Ivan Drago. It doesn't work like that. If you can get someone into comics, then there's no reason why they can't enjoy your book and somebody else's book too. So, like, you know, I know that Vaughn had a couple backers today, you know, drop out, and you know, he just happened. Yeah, and like I just told him, I'm like, look, man, this stuff happens. You know, like I would kill to be able to do what this kid does on Kickstarter, but
oh my God,
yeah. I only say that to say this. You know, it's like we can't control what's going over, but he was mentioning it's like kind of like a weird time right now, but you know, the main thing is that this is not the harvest season right now. Where we're at right now, Kickstarter has performed a lot better for people in the past. I know that I've done a lot better on Kickstarter in the past, but you take what you can in order to move forward, so that when we have those good years, the harvest will come. And these are the times, the tough times are what build you. And your tenacity to be able to stay in it is what's important. And here's the thing, Vaughn is doing great. Like when I look at his table set up at conventions, he looks professional. He looks like he belongs there. And,
yeah.
I have a lot of respect for him. Another person I want to give a big shout out to is H.H. German, who's doing Calico. This dude's a straight up.
Yeah, he's great. Oh.
Yeah, he's a scrapper, man. I've done New York Comic Con, next to him a couple times. The dude's a straight up warrior. He's going out there, he's pushing his books. He's got a wonderful attitude about this. He brings in he's got a great looking book. He's very good about funneling sales and stuff like that, because we're all there to help each other. We all want to succeed. We all want to get ahead a little bit. So it's like this is just that's what this is all about.
I completely agree. You guys should go check it out. One of the beautiful things about his book is that he actually takes his proceeds and donates it to the animals.
Wow.
Oh yes, yeah, for Calico, yeah. And his book is like the Punisher, like on crack. And I'm looking forward to Big Bath. Like this looks really good. So I back that. But there's very few people who can do what we're doing full time. And it's really tough to do this, to be in this arena and to go at it and to have that positive energy and to just say, I'm going to make it not off of the back of something I did, for a bigger company, but something that I'm just doing squarely for myself, by myself, and building that one reader at a time. Like, I think that's really amazing. Like when you have that leverage of having worked on something in the past, that always helps. And it's a wonderful thing. But, there are so few people who come into this business with none of that and make a thing out of it. So I mentioned both HH and I mentioned Vaughn because these are guys who are doing it. And I've been in this business long enough to tell you that they have staying power. Like these are not the guys who are going to be gone in a few years. They're going to be, if anything, they're going to excel in a few years. If they're going to go anywhere, they're only going to go up,
Yeah, folks, go check this out, and if you pay attention in the background, you might see somebody right now. Because that's from New York Comic Con right there, folks.
Yeah. We were neighbors. We were neighbors there, and I love that he's a New Yorker. I mean, he's always he's very. You got to be very aggressive when you're promoting too. It's like because you don't have a budget, so you got to use whatever guerrilla tactics you can in order to get people's attention. And like what HH does is he throws up a little banner as you're walking over to New York Comic Con, like outside you could see a little Calico thing. That's smart. Like there are people who used to put up ads in the urinals at bathrooms and at conventions, and then that got frowned upon. And I'm like, who the fuck cares? You're going to take a piss and you see an advertisement, like just let it be there. There's nothing as long as there's nothing offensive about it, like who cares? Yeah. Like you got to use whatever tactics you can to get people's attention. It's tough.
It's one of the reasons I love this show so much is these three folks here are hustlers, boy. They hustle. You see how much passion they have for their projects. And of course, right now I'm showing off the Penny Poison, but the Kickstarter is not working the right way. So just wait a little bit. We'll have Carl back on the show, and we'll put all this stuff together. Go ahead, Carl, talk.
Yeah, I mean that's really it. I was supposed to launch this morning, and all of the reward part is like missing. And then I started hearing from, I guess, somebody trying to scam me and get my banking information. Oh. It's been a nightmare of a day. I thought I was going to I'm finally going to launch today. And I'm going to send out all my emails and start my marketing again. And instead, it's like I'll be getting messages from all my friends going, what's going on? And I said, I don't know. So I got
that's what's going on right there. Look at the screen, folks. That's what's going on.
Yeah, you hit rewards, and that's what you get. The circle of death.
Of course, if you guys want to see something right now, you should go check out Parallel Hollywood. Well, say a little bit about that before we move on.
Sure, it's all sketch comedy. It's kind of like Saturday Night Live on acid. So, because in stop motion animation, we could do a lot of crazy things, travel a lot of different places. We can put as many stars on there as we want and situations. So there's a lot of really cool stuff coming. Like we've got like a version of Jeopardy, and we've got a whole zombie thing coming up. It should be a lot of fun. If you like it, give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you don't, that's okay too. Welcome to comment. Tell us what you think of it. It's all stop motion animation. And there it is on YouTube.
There you have it, folks. Go check these beautiful gentlemen out. And of course, next week we are doing the Road to Cradle Con, and we will have Seamus himself on to talk about Cradle Con and all the beautiful things. And we'll have a couple other Cradle Con vendors and creators and beautiful people who will be on the show talking about what's happening with Cradle Con and why you should be there. Right, Carl? They should be
Absolutely. What a great show. What a great show.
And of course, folks, Carl will be at Cradle Con. You want to meet him in person? You want to have all these beautiful conversations like we've had here on the show? Go to Cradle Con and talk to Carl. And dude, it's the cradle of aviation. It's a con in a museum.
I'll be doing a panel also on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. And we're going to try to project some of the Parallel Hollywood animation. We put together a little montage.
That's nice.
And it's an opportunity to talk about it, promote the show, and get everybody interested in real animation, tactile stuff, not that AI slop.
Where do they have panels in Cradle Con? Because I've never been able to figure that out.
There's actually 3
locations. It's in the big theater with the dome.
I've never been. I've never seen it. I've never been.
You know what it is? You're so used to seeing the vendors that you missed the door to the big theater.
Well, they have isn't it a it's not IMAX, but it's like a planetarium, right?
Yeah, it's a theater. It's a big theater.
Yeah.
I think it was IMAX at one point because it's a curved screen.
Right.
But I'm not sure if they do that anymore. I don't know.
So don't worry, Tony. I'll show you where they are.
Yeah, the one panel I went to, it was on the floor. It was in the middle of the floor. It was like that was it. And it was just I don't know.
So there's 2 side rooms and the auditorium where they have panels.
I wish there were signs or anything that told us.
We'll talk to Seamus when he's here next week.
Yeah. This is the problem. A lot of shows, a lot of times you don't know where the panels are. Like you got a lot,
That is one of the problems for a lot of the cons, actually, because I know there have been to cons where roaming around going, they said they were going to be at a panel. I'm not sure where the panel. Oh my God, folks! I hope you love the show. I know it is at the 1:30 mark, but we've been having fun. We've been geeking out, but it's time for us to go. And you know what happens on this show when it's time to go? This little thing right here. Get out of here. What were you expecting?